What's up, YouTube? It's Ken again. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I know I actually haven't posted in a while, so I want to break this video into two separate parts, maybe even three. I'm going to just start real quick with a bit of a teaser for some upcoming videos, projects that I have laid out off to the side here, tools and items for projects anyway. And timestamps will be down below too if you want to skip all of this teaser stuff and just get right into the discussion with the pliers. So laid out on the workbench right here in front are all of the pliers that I use in what I call my mobile set, the tools that I take on the go. And then in the back, my entire assortment there are all of the tools that I use at home. But first, real quick, I picked up a can of 2K clear coat, and I'm gonna use this to refinish some headlights. I'm gonna try and use this can to its max because I think if I just use it for a pair of headlights, I'm gonna have quite a bit of paint left over. So I have some family members with cars that need this done too. So I'm gonna try and knock that out at the same time. I was wanting to do that this weekend, but some of our schedules conflicted. So I'm just trying to pick the right time and get the right temperature. I believe that this works best between 75 and 85 degrees. So we're there right now actually, but it's a little bit humid right now. So in a week or two, we'll get a little further towards the fall weather season, and that'll be a bit better. Also on tap for both of my Odysseys, I bought these two, and I actually have another tool I bought just for this project, which is too big to show. But this one right here is a 19mm socket from Lyle, and it's a harmonic balancer socket, or basically the socket that I'm going to use for the crankshaft. You need this very heavy, I mean it's really heavy, big thick socket to actually break that bolt loose from everything I've read. So I picked that up in preparation for the timing belt project for both of my Odysseys. And then this actually goes in and holds that bolt, I believe, for retightening. I'm guessing this is a 1/2 inch drive. I'm gonna test that now. Yeah. So I could put like a breaker bar on this to hold it, I guess, as I'm tightening. The other tool that I bought for that job that I just didn't have was a torque wrench that actually can handle angles. So my torque wrench set just continues to grow. It's kind of crazy, but anyway, I picked that up. It's a Quinn unit. It was on sale from Harbor Freight, so I'll show that off probably in the timing video job or maybe a subsequent video. Might make an addendum to my torque wrench, video, and I'll show it off then. And then lastly, right back here, this is the ignition coil off of my lawnmower, and it was actually chewed up pretty good just from where the housing met this cord. And either this was chewed up enough to where it was finding a path to ground, or just this coil here just seemed so much wear that, it wasn't working right. So I replaced it with a unit that I bought off eBay. I actually need to do some modification with that unit. The wire itself is too long, and then to prevent that from happening again where the cord insulation gets chewed up, I need to modify the lawnmower a little bit. So that'll be a future project as well, future video. Okay, so first up for my mobile set, I'll go through these first and then clear them out of the way to bring the ones in the back forward for you. I really like long pliers, and these are the only two that I have that are this long. I don't even remember how long these are, so I'm checking real quick. So this one's 15.5, and this one is about 16.5, roughly. Might be right on, but anyway, point being, having some really long pliers are really handy. There are some bolts that drop or nuts. And yeah, I use a magnet, a telescoping one like this that I've picked up from Harbor Freight. I actually have like 3 or 4 of these because I lose them from time to time. Highly, highly recommend having this. And it is magnetized again, as you can see. It's really a lifesaver, but there are times where this just fits in better for any variety of reasons. And then there are times that you got to get to stuff that only this can reach. So these two here, I'll just show off the action on them. A little bit of surface rust, I guess, or maybe just dirt, but they open and close real nice. Occasionally, I'll find the need to spray some grease in here. I personally use silicone. I don't know if that's the best thing to use, but that does keep them pretty loose. I don't know that I've done it for these, to be honest. And these are Pittsburgh from Harbor Freight. This one's a little bit tighter. It might need some lubrication, but it works just fine. Again, Pittsburgh. This one here is just a shorter version of the right angle pliers that are here, and it's also Pittsburgh. Opens and closes real nice. This came in a pretty assorted set, like a 120-piece set or something from Pittsburgh, and I've had it for years. It actually opens and closes really, really easily, and I used it for quite a while. I actually moved it to my mobile set because of how much use I had put on it. Same idea here, just a small Pittsburgh mini needle nose plier. This one's a little bit tight too, probably could use some grease. And then here, this is just a Pittsburgh, what do we call this? A crescent wrench, I guess, adjustable wrench. What's kind of interesting, what's different about this one is you can actually spin this all the way out and flip it around, and you get a different jaw layout where this can actually grip on to things. I think I've used this maybe once in this configuration. It's pretty rare. I mean, for the most part, I'm trying to go for a wrench that is actually a correct fitted size. I don't prefer adjustable wrenches personally, but it's one of those things where when you need it, you need it. And I just don't consider my tool set to be complete without it. This was maybe 10 bucks from Harbor Freight. Now these actually came in a set that I got from Tekton, as you can see there on the handle. I don't know if these are made in the USA. I mean, it says USA on it, but they're nice. Just an adjustable plier here. So this one's a snap ring plier set. I want to say I got it from Harbor Freight, and it comes with all of these little adapters that you can pop into here. It actually doesn't work all that well as I was playing with it off camera. The external setting does work and actions appropriately, but when I flip this, nothing happens. I might not be using it right, I'm not sure. But I actually have a completely different set, not shown, glad I'm showing this to remind myself that I have them, of snap ring pliers that I use at home. And now that I know that these don't work all that well, I either need to get a different one or remember to bring that set with me if I go on a project. My idea with the mobile set is to have one of everything that I need, and so I didn't mind going more universal for something that I knew I wouldn't need all that much for snap rings. Some side cutters. I don't know if you technically consider these pliers, but they're in the same drawer, so they have handles and all that. And I have a Bremen, which is a Harbor Freight model vice grip. I went with this one for the mobile set because it's got kind of the curved jaw down here, but I find that I use the straight jaw and the smaller version of the vice grip, the Irwin vice grips, more. So that's why I went this route. And I've used these quite a bit for different projects that I've gone to. I find that vice grips in general are really essential. Really important to have a set, and honestly, I mean, this is fine for mobile use, but I prefer the really good name brand version for home use because they really come in clutch when you need them. So not before pictured, but this is the Lang snap ring plier set that I actually use and really like. These are made in USA. I think this kit was like 70 bucks when I bought it a couple of years ago. It's the 3495 is the item number. And if I remember right, there are basically 3 different configurations on these ends. So this is the smallest set of the straight. And you can actually unscrew this and screw it in on the other side to change its orientation. So just to show the difference there. As you're closing these, now that I've changed them, they open. As you close these, they come together. That's the default mode, and that's what I leave them in. But yeah, you can also see too, as I was alluding to, these are straight on the left. What is that, like a 45-degree angle right there, and then a 90? That would be my guess on what these angles are. But yeah, as I reconfigure this, I feel that they're very high quality. When I've bought the snap ring pliers, like what I showed for my mobile set from Harbor Freight, they didn't have that many offerings. I think they do now with like Icon, but I was never really impressed with what they had. And they tended to break too, the tips did, or contort or bend, and it just didn't get the job done. So I wanted to go up to a higher quality set, and because these have so many different sizes, I figured that this would suit my needs, and it really has. It's been great. All right, so as for the items I keep in my toolbox at home, we'll just start from left to right here. These are some very, very well used Master Mechanic mini needle nose pliers. And honestly, this is the smallest plier that I have for my home kit, and I need to get some smaller ones, but I've bent these. I mean, the teeth are probably just about completely gone on them if they even had any to begin with. I don't know that they did. They feel pretty smooth. So again, either they're gone or they didn't have any to begin with. And yeah, these are just my go-to pliers for so many projects. And so yeah, they actually stay out of my plier holder that I picked up from Harbor Freight. I really like this. It sits in my Yukon toolbox that I have, and it's great for organization. But they don't really fit well in any slot, and I like to have them right at the front of the drawer where I have these pliers in, so that works out great. My wife actually got these, maybe for some garden project. I don't know that she knew that I had, all kinds of pliers at her disposal if she would have needed them. So I should probably tease her about that. But I think these are like vice grip needle nose pliers. They have pretty good teeth on them, DeWalt brand, as you can see. And I don't really use them all that often, but I don't want to throw these away. They fit fine in the drawer with the rest of the pliers, so why not? All right, and for the main use, I actually use the pliers most that are on the left. So these are my go-to right angle needle nose pliers. Cannot tell you how many times I've used these. They're pretty much exactly like what I had in the mobile set. One real quick use case for these, and just to give you an idea of some of the versatility that you can find for pliers like this, pretend that this is the protrusion or nub of an oil cap on your engine. And I find that on my Odysseys, they can be wicked tight. I'll actually put like a rag over here so I don't mar the plastic. But I basically sandwich a rag between pliers and the top of the cap. And because these are 90 degrees, I can get quite a bit of pressure on there and then turn it and the cap comes out. And I'm sure there are tons of other tricks like that and different use cases. But yeah, these are from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight as well. These need to be greased. They're pretty stiff. Just Pittsburgh. These are from Harbor Freight. These are Doyle. These are my favorite needle nose pliers. This is my go-to. If I have a job, a project, whatever, and I need pliers, these are the pliers that I go to first, or the 90-degree needle nose. Every now and then you need a second needle nose that's, fairly small. And I think these are both 7-inch. We're going to call that 8. 8.5-inch on the Doyle. And the Tekton, I think, are 7. No, they're 8.5 too. So for what it matters, these are 8.5. Basically the exact same as the Doyle. They're just Tekton, and I love Tekton. I bought this kit after I had bought those Doyle pliers, and I will say, I mean, the molding's probably pretty much the same. They look really, really similar, identical even. But I just like the Doyle a tiny bit better. The molding feels just a hair softer, and I've had it longer, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're oiled up or whatever. But no complaints with these. In case I need a second pair, I grab them. These are my go-to adjustable pliers. You just push the button in and then ratchet it up and down, and it clicks in. Use these for plumbing, for automotive work extensively, and they're great. They're Doyle from Harbor Freight. Love them. And they have different size versions. So this one is, I don't know if this is the accurate way to measure it from like the nose, but we'll call it 10-inch if it is. Great pliers. And I find that I don't need other configurations of that same variety. I mean, it'd be nice to have, I guess, but it's fine. I make do. Now, these are vice grips, and they are brand name vice grips. I really recommend high quality on these. This is my most used vice grip. It came in a set of 3, and I'll show the other 2 in a moment. This is 6.5. Well, I guess maybe you would end at this because this is adjustable. And that would make them, yeah, 6.5. But yeah, they're just, you know, straight as can be seen here. I have a bit of a curvature, I guess, at the end of the jaw. And if you're new to tools, what these do, these will clamp down on a bolt, a nut, whatever you need. I mean, it could be a stud, it could be anything. And they're like, you know, vice, they're like a mobile vise. And you can adjust the jaw width here. And then you want to get it to where it's really, really firm when you're clamping, but it still will clamp. Now this is wood, so it's going to give way, but once you lock it in, then you can unscrew, unbolt, whatever you got to do. And then to open it, you just push on this little lever and then pull open. And again, because it's wood, it's going to break in there. It's going to indent onto it. These will really get you out of some crazy situations. This is just the second one that came in the kit. I almost never use these, but it's just the step-up version. Again, vice grip brand name, high quality. I mean, the teeth don't wear as much, I guess is the idea for a higher quality vice grip. And then also too, they'll grab onto the material better that you're trying to bite onto when you need them to. So if you get a cheaper version, they might not do as well. And they might not last as long too. Would be my thought anyway. And then this is the biggest one. You can see I've put some good wear on it. I don't use it again as much as I do the smaller version, but it's the same exact idea. Gotta have a good adjustable wrench, right? This is a Master Mechanic 296996. Yeah, it works great. Got it from Handyman Hardware years ago. Use it for plumbing, for car projects, automotive, everything. These are side cutters that came in the Tekton kit that I bought. I think it was a 6-tool plier kit that I either got on sale or just had the money for. I don't remember which, but they're great. Work fine. That's the side cutters that I use for my home setup. Another pair of adjustable Tekton pliers. Can't really hurt to have extra, especially that are adjustable. They're great, no complaints. I don't use them all that much. I tend to reach for the Doyle. They're just, I find them easier to work with a little bit. Maybe it's just because I'm more used to them. But if you like the version that you don't have to actually push in a button, these are just, what do you call these? Like the slide jaw version. They're great, no complaints. Do you call these lineman pliers? I'll overlay if that's not right, but I think these are lineman pliers. They came in the Tekton kit. I don't know that I've ever used them, but yeah, I guess if you had to twist up some wires, then I think that's the main use, working with electrical. One of my favorites, my go-to for both my Odysseys, just oil filter pliers. You just grab onto the oil filter and unscrew. They're great. Got to make sure you can get them off with these though, because they will mar, and I mean, if you press hard enough, squeeze hard enough, they'll puncture that filter. I think these are circlip pliers, and if memory serves, I bought these when I was doing the CV axles on my blue Odyssey, my 05. I don't remember if they worked to get the circlip that I was trying to get off, but I kept them. I think they were a Lyle brand. Oh no, I'm wrong. They are Performance Tool. Right there, Advanced Auto. I don't have the heart to throw them away. I mean, they're a useful tool maybe if the need arises. These are slip joint Tekton pliers from that same kit. Can't say I use them all that much, but they're there. And this is a bigger version. I have a slightly smaller version. Now, as far as what I don't have, and I wish I did, well, I wish I had smaller, another couple of smaller pliers. That would be great. I see kits at Harbor Freight that I probably ought to pick up that have variations of the smaller sizes. And you know, for the longest time, I said that the brand doesn't matter for something like pliers, and that's more or less overall true. Pittsburgh has served me just fine, and I think they're about the cheapest pliers you can buy. And then also, and I'll throw it up on screen here because I don't have one, but hose pliers that actually have kind of a rounded end that can help you lock onto a hose in a car and wiggle it off. I really would like to get a set of those. I think they're more of a luxury than a necessity, but I use like my 90-degree, angled pliers, but these have teeth. And so I really have to be careful not to cut into the hoses that I'm trying to wiggle off. And I think those hose pliers would just be a lot better for that. But yeah, aside from some other specialty items, maybe a smaller version of the vice grips even, it wouldn't hurt to have a step down set for those. I'm pretty well covered. When the need arises, I buy what I need when I need it. With that all said, we'll wrap the video here. If you enjoyed this content, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It will really help the channel grow. Also, please consider subscribing so that you see future content, like for the projects that I mentioned over here. And as always, please post a comment down below in the comment section if you have any questions or feedback for me. Thanks for watching. Peace.